Nikolay Pavlovich Bogolepov, Russian, December 9, 1846 – March 15, 1901 was a Russian jurist and Minister of National Enlightenment, assassinated by a socialist revolutionary activist. Biography. Bogolepov was born in Serpukhov, in the Moscow Governorate of the Russian Empire. His father was a police inspector. In 1857 he moved to Moscow to continue his education in secondary school because his father did not find a satisfactory one in Serpukhov. The father could not afford moving to Moscow himself and Bogolepov had to live alone in a school boarding house. In 1864 he finished the school and entered the law faculty of the Moscow State University. After graduation he worked in the criminal department of the Senate but left it a year after and in 1869 returned to the university for academic studies in Roman law. In 1881 he was appointed professor and 2 years later he was elected rector of the Moscow University, continuing lecturing in Roman law. In 1886 two of his children died in a road. Being unable to work in the university after this tragedy he resigned. In 1891 Bogolepov was made rector again but resigned 2 years after due to constant students' unrest. In 1895 Minister of Popular Enlightenment Ivan Delayanov died. Nicholas II appointed Bogolepov as his successor. Bogolepov faced an enormous bulk of problems, firstly student disturbances that ranged from typical protests and demands for autonomy for universities to revolutionary propaganda. The government introduced various restrictive measures which only made the situation worse. In 1900 Minister of Finance introduced temporary regulations according to which a university student could be conscripted into the army as a punishment for participation in student riots. Bogolepov was not the author of this highly unpopular innovation, but he approved of it, and in the beginning of 1901 he commanded that 183 students of Kiev University were conscripted into the army. On February 27 he was shot in the neck by Pyotr Karpovich, supporter of the Socialist Revolutionary Party, and died on March 15. Karpovich was sentenced to 20 years of katorga. 5 years later he escaped and died in 1917 when a ship with Russian migrants was sunk by a German submarine.